information. Big bad wolf, cyber terrorist. I need more information. LAX, Wall Street, Atlanta.
Say to the family that loses somebody of a terrorist, to whether it's Atlanta or San Bernardino or the Boston bomber. Too many of these cases that have happened, whether you're talking about San Bernardino, Atlanta.
But I don't think you have to look any further than the families of the Boston Marathon, in Atlanta, in San Bernardino, to ask if we can go further.
Glad you're back with us. We have intense breaking news.
Justin and I are sitting there on the set, and we see these first incredible pictures of this huge fire. And the first thing we both said, we've never seen anything like this in our coverage and here in Atlanta. There was something about this that was just different. This was a major interstate, 6:30 in the evening on a Thursday in Atlanta before spring break, and it's burning. We were trying to figure out what was going on. The first thing was, please don't let this be a car with a driver or several cars. Was this the result of a wreck? We're kind of talking out loud. We're trying to figure it out loud. As the viewers are watching this, so are we. We have not been able to see the roadway yet, and we're just hoping that whatever happened under this span of I-85, you just hope that it happened when there were no cars. Back of my mind, I never said it on the air, but I know that there are homeless people under there. I've seen them. Please don't let it be a homeless person caught in the fire.
I-85 has collapsed here.
What?
A portion of the interstate has fallen in because of these flames.
It was one of those moments where you're just kind of speechless and you're wondering and you're waiting. And the first thing we thought then was, we just saw firefighters under there. Like, where are those men? We just had to wait. We couldn't talk about it. We didn't want to say it on air. Like, I did not want to utter those words.
I don't know at this point if there were any first responders underneath that bridge battling the fire.
We needed some confirmation as to what just happened, but we also needed confirmation what didn't just happen.
There are no firefighters that had been reportedly hurt at this point in time. I think it was a very strategic move.
They got out what feels like probably moments before that chunk of 85 collapsed. It was amazing watching it. Like, you almost couldn't believe what you were seeing. This is going to be continuing coverage for us. We've got to get answers. Whose stuff was that under the bridge? Is it okay for that stuff to be there? Do you need a license? Do you need a permit? Who gives the okay for that?
Well, a woman is shot and killed while crossing the street in Midtown, and police say she may have been targeted.
It happened on Peachtree Street. It's still not known who shot her. And Christy Hutchings with News Radio 1067 spoke with a witness who heard the shots and saw the man running away.
Well, it was 7:40 in the morning. There were city crews out here working, people on their way to work. But when those shots rang out, everything came to a halt.
I was on my route coming down Peachtree, and I heard the 3 gunshots.
Tony Booker says moments later, it was chaos.
And I look up, and I just see the woman, she just drops. Boom, she drops in the crosswalk, bleeding. She's like clutching her wound, trying to keep pressure. And then as she went unresponsive. So civilians, they run out here, and they try to give her chest compression to bring her back while they holding pressure on her wounds.
But the woman wouldn't survive. She died at Grady. Now police have to try to figure out who did this and why.
Several witnesses were still in the process of that to try to put it all together.
Monday morning, Lieutenant Ricardo Vasquez says at this point Atlanta police speculate she was walking to work. Officers canvassed the area looking for witnesses and any video, but a motive, that's unknown.
I don't think we can rule out anything at this point. Again, very, very early in the investigation.
Tony can't forget what he saw moments before the shooting.
There wasn't no domestic dispute. It was just she was walking across with her bag like she was going to work or something, and he just boom, 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 and he just takes off. And so it was just crazy.
Well, after the shooting, witnesses say the suspect then took off down this road. He is described as a white or Hispanic male, 6 feet tall, wearing all black. If you have any information on this case, you're asked to call police. In Atlanta, Christy Hutchings, News Radio 1067 for Fox 5 News.
developing story tonight where a man has been arrested after this woman was shot multiple times on a busy street in Midtown Monday morning.
This is the man who police say is responsible for the shooting on Peachtree Street. His name is Raylan Browning. Fox 5's Christy Hutchings has been following this story for us.
And Christy, is there any word on a motive, and how exactly did police find him?
Well, right now they say they do not know why he killed her. They don't even know if the two knew each other. And ultimately, the way he was caught was because he ran a red light. Raylan Browning is charged with the murder of twin Nguyen, but police say they still don't know why he did it.
We're still going through a lot of information to see if there is any kind of relationship with our victim and then what that relationship might have been.
Nguyen was crossing the street when police say Browning walked up behind her, shooting her 3 times. Flowers in memory of the victim still lay at the scene. Those who knew her say she was an amazing woman with a kind heart.
We always had a smile on her face. I can tell you that I never saw her not smile, and always, she was a very spunky, animated person.
She was just a great example of what a human being can do. A role model, but also someone who gave back to the community.
Police say on Tuesday Browning stabbed 2 people he knew on Peachtree Street. Police took out a warrant for his arrest. Then last night in Cobb County, he's pulled over for running a red light.
Cobb County PD made a routine traffic stop on him and learned that he was wanted by EPD. Browning was arrested by Cobb County on the scene. After searching the vehicle, a weapon was located. We believe that this weapon is the weapon used in our homicide yesterday morning.
At the time, no one knows Browning is the same guy in the video. It wasn't until the detective working the aggravated assault case put it together.
Our aggravated assault detective looks at his picture of Raylan Browning, and then he sees the video and says, this is the same guy. Notifies homicide, and that's how we begin to put the pieces together.
For those who knew and loved Nguyen, they say she will be missed.
I think it will be a big loss. I mean, not only the shock of what had happened and how it happened, but losing someone like Trin, who was that energetic and still very young and had a lot to give, I think will be a loss.
Again, right now, police are still looking in to see what the connection between the two of them is, if there is a connection, and they say they're still trying to determine that motive. Live in Atlanta, Christy Hutchings, News Radio 106.7 for Fox 5 News.
To the Index tonight, new developments after a shooting during rush hour in Atlanta. 40-year-old Trin Nguyen, a corporate lawyer for UPS, targeted while in the crosswalk on the way to work. Late today, police arresting 39-year-old Raylan Browning. Detectives saying he was spotted there on surveillance before and after the shooting. Investigators believe she was targeted. They have not said why. The search and rescue in Washington State, a small plane crashing into the side of a mountain in Olympic National Park. The instructor and student sending a distress call. They were heard by a Delta 767 flying by, the crew relaying details to air traffic control. And airlifted to safety, they are expected to be okay. To the shark attack in Florida, 17-year-old Caitlin Taylor was bitten on the leg while swimming off Destin, Florida, as she punched to fight off the shark. Her mother says Caitlin suffered cuts to her hand, jaw, and legs, requiring more than 120 stitches. She's going to be okay.
And good evening, I'm Tom Yamas. As we come on the air in the West, we begin with that breaking news. Right now, a crippling blackout in Atlanta at America's busiest airport. Authorities now trying to get everyone out of the airport. Images from Hartsfield-Jackson at this hour. The airport appears to be in near total darkness. Thousands of passengers confused and frustrated, crowding into terminals, not sure when or even if they'll get into the air. Dozens of planes stuck on the tarmac and hundreds of flights into and out of Hartsfield have been canceled. And this picture tonight from the airport, travelers stuck outside. Tonight, late word on a possible cause. ABC's Marcus Moore leads us off.
Tonight, the nation's busiest airport in the dark. Thousands stranded when the power went out without warning at Atlanta's Hartsfield International Airport.
Atlanta Airport, no power, no lights.
The lights flickered once. It was really scary, and then they flickered again, and they didn't come back. And it's been about an hour now, and it's just pitch darkness in the airport.
This worried parent unable to find his 10-year-old son who was flying alone.
I've been stuck here by myself with my daughter trying to get to my son.
I'm not the only parent.
Passengers using flashlights to guide them. In some parts of the airport, the only sights and sounds, the emergency announcements. Late tonight, officials saying a fire in an underground electrical facility may have caused the power outage. Reports of smoke in the terminal coming from passengers.
We could see fire trucks all along Terminal E and black smoke coming from the back.
The massive power outage shut down critical equipment and computers, stranding thousands of passengers. As many as 100 flights on the tarmac, pilots and passengers relying on social media for any updates. Some passengers let off planes covering themselves for warmth. They huddle on the tarmac. David Robinson's in Dallas trying to get home to Atlanta.
We were scheduled for a 4 o'clock flight. Now we're being pushed over till tomorrow on a 7, 11, and 12 o'clock flight for a group of 6.
The drama unfolding in Atlanta. At least 600 flights now canceled, more than 500 delayed. The power shutdown creating a ripple effect. More than 2,000 flights across the country already delayed.
Marcus Moore joins us live. Marcus, officials blaming that power outage on a fire. Do we know how long the power will be out and when they'll be up and running?
Well, Tom, tonight they tell us they could have that power restored by midnight tonight, but it's still unclear how long it will take to get the airport back up and running at 100%. But I can tell you, we are seeing the effects of this outage here in Dallas. You see that line of passengers here at the Delta ticketing counter. It certainly is proving to be a long and frustrating night for so many travelers. Tom.
We see those lines forming behind you. Marcus Moore with the breaking developments. Marcus, thank you. Let's get right to former Marine Corps fighter pilot and ABC News contributor Steve Ganyard. Steve, this is a serious issue that you believe is going to affect travel for the coming days?
Tom, I think for airlines that are headquarters in Atlanta like Delta, it's going to have a cascading effect, and it's going to take them a long time to figure out crew schedules, putting the airplanes in the right place. Every hour that goes by without power compounds that delay.
Now, Steve, when the Atlanta airport lost power, there were planes in the air. Were any flights ever in any type of danger?
Tom, what we know tonight is that air traffic control and the control tower maintained power. So nobody was in danger, but there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be affected by this for a long time to come.
Colonel Steve Ganyard for us tonight. Steve,
today, more lines.
I just feel like we're in the third world.
And more frustration.
Beyond irritating.
After an epic 10-hour blackout, the power at the world's busiest airport was back on this morning. Still, more than 400 flights were canceled today, on top of the 1,100 canceled yesterday.
The lights went out. We were on the plane for like 7.5 hours. The lights went out. We were on the plane for like 7.5 hours. Lights went out. We were on the plane for like 7.5 hours.
And tell us, how did you propose? Was it romantic? Was it romantic? Was it romantic?
Was it romantic?
And Megan, how are you feeling? And tell us, how did you propose? Was it romantic? Was it romantic? Was it romantic?
The lights went out. We were on the plane for like 7.5 hours.
In Sunday's chaos, some passengers initially feared a terrorist attack, confused by a lack of information.
I was not expecting that.
The stranded, some on planes for more than 6 hours,